Hey there everybody, this is Amaya, and let's talk about some really awesome books that I read this week. And this week I have some coffee. It took me a while to find some coffee that I actually like. People told me that I should start out with light to medium roasts because I've never drank coffee seriously before. But they weren't flavorful enough for me. I like black tea, I like strong stuff. And so I finally found it's a Starbucks brand. I found Sumatra, and it's a good black tea. It's Arabica. But if you are looking for a coffee, try this one out. It says earthy and herbal, but I've never been one of those sorts of people that can taste stuff. With wine, people are yes, I can taste the barrel in which this wine was fermented in. Ooh, it's woody, oaky, ooh, stuff like that. I never got any of that. It's just as long as it tastes good, I like it. But anyway, back on topic. I read 2 books this week and 1 comic and a bunch of manga in a single series. So it's 1 series. But let's talk about it. So finally, it's been 11 years that Jonathan Safran Foer is writing or releasing his new book, and it's called Here I Am. It'll be out September 6th. Super excited because he's one of my favorites. His writing style is just so beautiful. So this week I went back where it all started and I reread Everything is Illuminated. It's kind of autobiographical and it tells 2 stories at once. The first is the story of Treshimbrod, a Jewish shtetl in Ukraine before the war, World War II that is, obviously, and how it was affected by the war. And then the second one is based off of Jonathan Safran Foer when he visited Ukraine to follow in his family's footsteps and to find out more about the shtetl in itself. And it's just it's so beautiful, it's kind of sad, it's it pulls at your heartstrings, you'll love it. But I've read everything this man has written. I've read Everything is Illuminated, The Tree of Codes, Eating Animals. I read Extremely Loud and Incredibly Close, but I let someone borrow it, and of course they didn't return it. I haven't gotten around to buying a new copy. Cursey Rebecca. But everything he's written is just so amazing, and I can't wait for this new book to come out. And my next book is a really short piece by Christopher Isherwood, and it's called The Single Man. So this one is about George. He's a middle-aged Englishman who lives in Southern California, and he has to deal with the sudden loss of his partner, Jim. And the beginning, he's kind of in autopilot sort of mode. He's this is Jim waking up, and I'm staring at the ceiling now. Here's Jim brushing his teeth. Here's Jim eating his breakfast and drinking his coffee. Here's Jim reading the newspaper. So it's kind of sad, but then it's just and all of his internal musings, thinking about death and loss and all this stuff. It's just it's kind of heavy. But then he starts meeting people along the way. This book spans just 24 hours, so it's just George's day, and it's just it's all the people he's talked to and everybody he's interacted with, and it's a really great book. If you haven't read it before, Christopher Isherwood is he writes a lot about LGBT gay things, and it's just beautiful to see gay people as just people. He's not defined by his sexuality, and most people that's all they focus on, but it's more of this man is hurting and he's sad, and it's just I love it. It's great. Mwah. Perfect. Next book I'm gonna read from him is Christopher and His Kind. I think it's kind of autobiographical. I don't really know for sure, but that's the next one on my reading list. And the comic I read this week was called Monstrous by Marjorie Liu and Sana Takeda. This is the first bulk trade paperback, and it collects everything that's been published so far, so I'm all caught up. First of all, 2 thumbs up, written and illustrated by 2 ladies, and they're both ladies of color. Marjorie is Taiwanese American, and obviously Sana Takeda is Japanese. Awesome, raise up the roof, ladies, where you at. So the art in this comic is very beautiful. It's very intricate, like there's lots of patterns and details. And I get kind of like a steampunk feel, like maybe first 2 games of Bioshock, like that sort of atmosphere. And the story itself is very heavy. There's like slavery, war, poverty, and just like everything bad that could happen in the world is happening in this world. It's a dark fantasy. In like the first page, our main character Micah is being sold, so that just like hits it right off the bat, like this is what you're in for. If you're not ready, maybe you should get out. But there's also like a feminism sort of twist on this story. Like I don't remember a single male character. Maybe there was like 1 or 2 and they were very like quick, like it didn't matter whatsoever. But it's just like this whole world was run by ladies, and it's like the world is still pretty shitty, so it's just like people are people, and like they'll run the world how they want, and it doesn't matter what gender they are. Like, oh, men ruin the world, it's just like, ladies would ruin the world too. Like everybody is like in for their own self-interest, so it's just like people are people, we're all equal. But back to the story, it's called Monstrous because there's this mask that everybody is trying to get, and the mask has a monster inside of it, and our main character Micah finds it, breaks it, and like the monster gets inside of her, and now she's got like this crazy nasty little monster guy that comes out every so often and like kicks butt for her. It needs to eat people, and Micah, she's very strong, she's very foul-mouthed, she's very headstrong. She doesn't mind killing people. Like that's her kind of character, so it's just like these 2 feed sort of on each other, and it's just an interesting complex that they've got there. And it's not all scary monsters and heavy stuff all the time. There's a cute, I think she's a fox, she's either a fox or a cat girl, but whenever she's scared, she hugs her tail close to her. It's super cute. And there's these cats that are like, they can walk like a cat or they can walk upright, and they talk, and they have 3 tails sometimes. And the one that's traveling with Micah is super cute, Tabby. I just love cats in general, so whenever they're in a story, I'm just like, me, plus 10 points. But anyway, definitely a kick butt comic. I can't wait for more issues to come out. I'm going to stay on top of it, and that's it for that, I guess. But this next series that I've started, I don't know if I should be embarrassed or not. I don't care. But it's a shonen manga, and that means that it's targeted towards young men or boys. And it's called One Piece, and I'm sure lots of people know about it already. And it's a long series. Like there's 70-something volumes, and I think it's still ongoing. I'm so behind. But I got the first 5 volumes this week, and it's a pretty good one, I'd say. So these first 5 volumes were kind of a like introductory thing, like here's all the characters, and then after this one, now we'll start the story. But the first one was Monkey D. Luffy. He wants to be the Pirate King, and I guess to do that, you have to find Blackbeard's treasure, and that's called One Piece. And he eats a devil's fruit called the Gum Gum fruit, and now he's like a stretchy rubber guy. The next one is Zoro. He's my favorite. He's the swordsman of the group. He has a Santoryu style, so he uses 3. I don't know how he can fight with a sword in his mouth, but somehow he makes it work. And then the next one is Nami. She's the navigator, and she likes pirate booty. So she's a thief, and she goes for pirates, obviously, because they have the most booty, obviously. The next one is Usopp. He's really lovable. He's a scaredy cat, like lying person. Like he's kind of like the village idiot, but he's kind of like the sharpshooter. He has a slingshot, and he never misses, just like his father, Aesop. That's where he probably gets his storytelling from. And lastly, I can relate to his profession. I can't relate to him because he's a ladies' man, but it's Sanji, and he is a chef. He's the chef of the crew, and he kicks people. Like he trained with another very famous pirate called Red Leg or Red Boot or something like that, and he had like a kicking style, I guess. But that was the first 5 volumes, just introducing all the characters and their backstory and like what drives them and like what makes them. They didn't all initially want to be pirates, but like how they changed their ambitions to fit into this pirate story is really interesting, and it's just like, it's really funny. There's lots of comedy and there's action. It's just like everything that a good story should have. So I feel like it's a good introductory manga, like if you want to like get one to maybe get right, or like how do I start reading manga, maybe try One Piece. It's really overwhelming. Like with 70 something volumes I'm still going, but I feel like we can catch up maybe. we'll get there eventually. Slow and steady wins the race. But that's what I read this week, guys. Let me know what you guys read. Did you read any good books? What do you recommend that I read? Anything. Books, comics, manga, whatever you'd like. Leave that in the comments below, and thank you very much. I'll see you guys next time.